Mr. Shelby, may I tell you something? You have a lot of enemies.
Enemies. Does your ambition have no limits?
I have no limitations.
I have no limitations.
Keeping on back for the next say song. Never tell her back that I never stay running. Sipping on facts, damn, know I got stacks in the lab. Taking bitches straight for another cat.
Welcome to Market Makers, boys and girls, your home for tomorrow's TA today. Positive aura points to everybody that likes, subscribes, and shares this content. I do appreciate it. Give me a follow on X at Market Canary. Today is Sunday. It is a special recording. I have a busy weekend. I have to go back out of town here shortly. So I wanted to go ahead and make a quick video for you guys to enjoy. This is the catalyst driven market. This market, remember, this week we have PAL on Wednesday. All of the catalysts have affected this market up and down, positive and negative. Now, Powell's probably not going to cut. I was predicting that he would cut prior to the Liberation Day that we had. But as you know, we just had the jobs report. Non-farm payrolls came in at 177,000. Look, it's a 95% chance the market's pricing in he doesn't cut. If he did, though, again, massive catalyst to the upside. If he doesn't, it's the opportunity for the market to find a near-term top and then get a retracement, and all about how it holds that higher low or not, right? Now think about this. There's so many moving pieces on this chessboard that what if Powell comes off hawkish, the market top starts retracing, and then the very next day, Trump announces, or Besant announces, by the way, we got trade deals done with India and Japan. It's hundreds of billions of dollars in new revenue for American companies. What's going to happen? My answer would be volatility, guys. You need to understand what's happening in the market. So before we start the show, I want to talk about this trade narrative that's going on out there on Bloomberg, on CNBC, and on YouTube. Now, I kind of categorize this as the Peter Schiff trade. What's Peter Schiff bullish on? Peter Schiff is bullish on Europe. He's bullish on emerging markets. And his explanation is they're not overvalued as much. And obviously, he's bullish on the metals. That's being parroted all over on CNBC and Bloomberg. Analyst after analyst comes on and tells you they're bullish on Europe. Germany's removing the debt brakes. They're going to spend $500 billion in their economy. Well, I just want to show you guys something in the charts, and then we're going to start the show. But let's just start off with this. If people who are cheering, they're cheering for the downfall of the U.S. market because they think their gold's going to go up or because they think they're smart and they're invested in European equities, let's look at how that played out. In 2022, all of the markets moved down with the U.S. market, obviously as well in the pandemic and as well in the GFC and as well in .com. What did we just do? The S&P bottomed on April 7th. What about Stocks 50 here on my screen? This is the 50 largest European companies. What did they do? They sold off 20%, north of 20%, in a near identical move to what the S&P did. When did they bottom? The exact same day as the U.S. market, as the S&P. They bottomed on April 7th, okay? 20+% down move, and now it's rallying back up. By the way, Stocks 50 need to take out 52.58 and then watch 53.32. What about the UK? Because the UK, the FTSE, is on a record-breaking run now. It broke all the records on this rebound. Well, the FTSE fell 15.5%. When did it bottom? April 7th. Now it's rallying back up. Your next key resistance, if you can stay above 8,600, it's going to be 87.61 is your next key resistance. The point being, every major market in the world will follow the S&P. Okay, so if you're cheerleading for the downfall of the U.S. markets, if you're invested in any other market, they're going to crater. Now you could say, Brendan, I don't care about just Europe, but what if I just hone in on a couple of things? What if I look at the DAX in Germany? That's having a record run as well. What if I look at Australia's market, right? Because they're commodity heavy. We're going to have supply chain problems, all these different issues. Well, let's look at them. How did they fare in this 20% downturn in the S&P? Here's the DAX. The DAX fell over 19%. Look at this massive double top on the weekly that's printing right now in the DAX. Now 23.5, 23,525 is your resistance here on the DAX, which you hit to the dollar. If you can flip that and you stay bullish, look at 24K. After 24K, you have 25. But right now, you have a massive double top printing on the DAX. What about Australia's market? Australia's market also fell with the S&P, 16.5%, and now it's rebounding. So again, they all bottomed April 7th. The DAX, Australian market, the FTSE, top 50 companies in Europe, they all bottomed April 7th with the S&P. There is no escape. If you're invested in equities and the US market has a downturn, it's taking you with it, baby. You better believe it, because it has every single time in the last 25 years. You will not wake up and see the S&P down 20, 25% and the Australian market up, the FTSE up, the DAX up. They all follow the big kahuna. Lee, let's go ahead and start the show. All right, guys, if you want to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. Check out our sponsors if you plan to trade. Check out Bitunix for all the cryptos, no VPN, no KYC needed. Link is in the video description. The link will also be posted in X. And check out SimpleFX if you live outside the US and want to trade global equities, commodities, Forex, and of course the cryptos. Appreciate your support. Let's go ahead and start off. Actually, let's jump over to the fear and greed, see where we're at right here. Fear and greed, we're just shy of neutral. We're at 43, about to exit fear. Now, we've been talking about this peak resistance, and this is what you guys need to watch this week, right? You guys need to watch this because the peak resistance here on the S&P futures on the weekly, you're right at the 50 moving average. Depending what other averages you use, I'm just using this to illustrate the zone of resistance, which comes all the way up to that 5,800 level, maybe 5,900, depending how bullish we are. With Powell being on Wednesday, I would not be surprised. You know, Monday's a coin toss. Could be up, could be down. Maybe you see some selling ahead of Powell on Tuesday, and then Wednesday it can be volatile as well. Maybe some more selling. So we have to see how it plays out. But when you're looking at this on the weekly time frame, remember, we're looking for resistance and some type of pullback, right? Pullback can be strong, pullback can be soft. You could just end up chopping sideways after a pullback and then the breakout. But we know if we get a blow off top, what's it going to entail? Rapid acceleration into a condensed time frame. Here's my map. There's your 200. We have 58.81, 57.92 as your peak resistance here on the S&P. You're about to test the 200. I definitely want to see it test the 200. Nice to get some wicks up there, maybe something like that. Get a hawkish Powell, get some type of retracement back down. And again, those retracement levels, just a 50% retracement's 5,300. 618's 5,196. And if it was to get crazy and go even deeper, then you have to look at your lows, guys. This is how you're going to know what's going on in the market. Watch your prior low, 51.27. If you take that out, you're coming down to retest your low here at 48.32. And if you take that out, that's the rollover to a new low, okay? That's not my base case, as you guys know. My base case is we get some type of near-term top, some type of retracement here into late May, and then we start to see the summer rally form, okay? This is my base case. Now, remember, trading's all about probabilities. It's not about certainties. If we build a top and start sharply selling off, well, then that could be a different scenario, but you know the key support levels, you know the key resistance levels. Do your own due diligence and pay attention to what's happening in the market. If we look at our pattern here on the S&P futures, 57.76, 1618 lines you up beautiful right with the 200. You're at 57.09 at market close on Friday. If we pull Fib confluence here all the way from the all-time high down to that retracement low, lines you up perfectly with the 72%, 57.94. Then again, just above you, 58.81, which takes you back into this fractal base over here of your previous Wyckoff range, okay? So I'm expecting to see some type of topping action. And again, could just be sideways if the market's super bullish, but just be aware it can pull down to those pre-identified levels as well. And that's what you want to see is how we behave here with a potential hawkish Powell. Again, you know, with Bessent being a Treasury Secretary, he's one of the greatest living traders alive. If he has any trade deals worked out, I would not be surprised to see them announced just before Powell, just after Powell. I would not be surprised, because if we get a pullback and then an announcement of major trade deals, you could see a lot of the damage mitigated, and you may even see some big up moves. If we look at NASDAQ 100, almost at the 200 at 20,306. Just above you is my 1618, 20,423. That is the 1618 of this pattern. Take my education series on marketmakers.trade or join the Discord. You can understand these patterns, how I use Fibonacci confluence on W fractals. 72% is just above you at 20,679. Watch these levels, and if it gets a little bit more bullish, watch 21K, right? Watch 21K just above it. Let's see if the market continues to push up Monday, Tuesday, or if it starts taking profits, anticipating a hawkish Powell. If we look at Bitcoin again, we're at 95.3 right now. Again, I'm looking at something similar, some type of pullback, holding the higher low, and then what? And then I'm looking for that acceleration, potentially into a summer top. Remember, summer top is an option, right? Depending what happens on this retracement, maybe it's a fall top, but I'm looking for an exponential move up, and you'll see rapid acceleration. Bitcoin holding above 92, which we'll see here on the daily, is very bullish to hold above this 92 range where all of these candles previously were, okay? And you can see you got a little hook right now in Bitcoin. Where's my retracement potential near top reversal zone? Right there, 100, 102, 105. You're at 95. So we'll see what happens here. I'm recording this early Sunday afternoon. Oftentimes you'll see Bitcoin start making moves before futures open or with futures here on Sunday. Maybe we pull down some, start coming back up, start finding resistance, and then pull back down. If we pull back down, watch your 92K, watch your 200 right about 90K now, 89K, somewhere in there. See if Bitcoin holds this range, and it's going to kind of tell you what's happening with the markets as well. It may be foreshadowing, once again, the markets finding resistance and pulling back. That's all this game is about, guys. All right, I'll have more video updates for you here later in the week. I have to get going to get out of town. Guys, follow me on X at Market Canary. I hope to see you all in the Discord. I hope everybody had a fantastic weekend. Talk to you guys soon. Talk to you on X and talk to you in the Discord. Take care, everybody.